What have we got today, Mike?
It's not about you. It's about we.
Ooh, I like this. What do you mean? What are we talking about? It's not about you. All right.
Well, the whole concept is when you're in some sort of spirited discussion with another human being, and we all often are, or to some degree, when we say you, if the person's screwed up at all, I mean, I don't mean if they are screwed up. I mean, if they have screwed up at something, they missed a deadline at work or something like that.
They were late for an appointment, or they missed the appointment.
Yeah. Or
they did something dumb.
Fired someone who did nothing wrong, and that sort of thing. The danger is if you say you when you talk to them, and God forbid that you start pointing as well, it makes the person feel very threatened, very overwhelmed, and often angry in response. You're singling them out.
Attacked, isolated.
Blamed. Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
When you switch to the word we instead of you, it has an almost magical effect based on the study I read online. I think it was Edinburgh University. I might be wrong about the source, but this was very recent and it's very well figured out. So think about it. The person shows up late at work and they're in trouble for it. Now, if the boss says, you're late, you screwed up here, feels threatened, blamed. But if the boss says in a different tone, we all need to be here on time and we need to be sitting down. Now he's included himself in this and it has deferred a lot of the bad feelings, even though the boss has done nothing wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even ever have to say a you statement like, I noticed that you're regularly late and we all need to be here on time, because I've still started with the finger pointing feeling, right?
Right.
So I can simply say, we really value punctuality. We really value starting on time. And I'd like to know if there's anything I can do to help.
Well, let's take it beyond the constraints of this, but it's a good point.
Right.
It's now building a bridge with the person instead of putting a barrier between the two of you. And even just switching into we without anything else. We all need to be on time. That's great because the boss is on time, but the implication is we're all together in this.
We value this here and we need to do this together kind of thing. You can even say we are going to have a problem, I suppose. What do you think? Let's have a quick dialogue about that.
All right.
Let's say you need to tell somebody, you need to kind of warn them, like, I'm not going to put up with this crap anymore.
Right.
So what do you think about saying something like, if this was to continue being a problem, we are going to have a problem. We are going to have to sort it out. Some sort of version of that. Instead of you're going to get fired.
Ship out. Yeah.
You're going to get yourself fired if you don't shape up. Exactly.
Now, this is interesting because what he's bringing up here is the whole idea of alignment. And if you're face-to-face with someone, it's the same when we do hypnosis training. We tell people, don't work with a client face-to-face. It's too confrontational for some people, directly across from each other, especially if there's no table or anything in between.
Right.
It can make people feel threatened. In reality, the best way to do it is instead of chairs head-to-head like this, off on a bit of an angle with one of them.
Pointing.
So you're aligning towards this common point here. That's what we does as well. Like this, yes.
Just
so
like
if I'm talking to you like this, and we need to be on time, Chris, and we need for you to take a huge pay cut, and we and whatever. It's way better than this. It just takes the pressure off the person immediately. And what happens when we take the emotional pressure away? By taking away blame, the person feels included, whether or not they actually are. They feel like they're being listened to, and they feel like you're working towards a solution instead of a blame fest.
So using we metaphorically aligns people towards a common goal.
Definitely it does. Now, the other thing with this that you can do to add on to it is modeling responsibility. In other words, you offer how you deal responsibly with things in your life. You don't say, well, here's how you should do it. No, but it's like this. If you've done something incorrect, you say, I know I was late a couple of times last week, and we really need to find ways that we can all work and be on time. Now, you've accepted responsibility first, which then takes the pressure off the other person. And then when you go back to we, it includes the other person, and everybody becomes on side again.
Okay, I like that a lot. So to recap the point here, if somebody else is doing something and you would normally catch yourself just finger pointing and saying, you're late, you missed this, you screwed up.
You're lazy.
You can model how in the past, I've not always been perfect and I've had such and such a problem. And then you shift to we. Or maybe even identify how you solved it. And I found that what a useful solution for me at that time was to do X, Y, and Z. and then you shift to we, and we need to make sure we really value the following, we, blah, 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 all that stuff.
It keeps the person in the loop.
I'm going to stop saying
loop.
blah, blah, blah.
Stop saying blah,
That's
blah,
a bad
blah. It's a
habit.
word whisker. It's terrible.
Yeah.
The other thing is, just to put a lid on all this, is when you're doing the whole we thing instead, offer language that doesn't attack the person. So you've made a huge mistake. This is an absolute failing. Instead, you say, okay, we need to all deal with this misunderstanding. And we need to just will soften it again, but calling it a misunderstanding instead of a problem, calling it a mistake instead of failing. It just softens it. We don't want to make them feel like they're losers.
Yes, and you can say things like we often say this when we're having team meetings. We need to be on the same page. We all need to be on the same page with respect to such and such a problem.
For sure.
It would be really useful if we could all agree on how the process will work. Something like that is a lot better than you need to fall into line.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Okay.
So there you have it. The power of we. Using we includes the other person. It gets the job done. It brings correction, but it does not denigrate the other person, and it doesn't blame them.
Awesome. I think that's really useful. So we'd love to hear from you. How are you going to use this? How are you going to use we in your lives? And let us know. It'd be awesome to hear back. So thanks once again. We'll see you in the next video, and good night.